I mean, it's the beginning of the end for the Conservatives for the foreseeable future anyway, I would have said. So I can't be anything other than delighted about that.
Peter's popped in the studio. Peter, you've got some news for us.
Yeah, Labour are claiming victory in the London mayoral election. No great surprise there. We've got a few of the boroughs of the 14 London boroughs that are reporting, and Sadiq Khan well ahead in the ones that have reported. The speculation was that Susan Hall would do a lot better than they thought, what was originally thought, Susan Hall being the Conservative candidate there. But really, it looks as though Sadiq Khan has held firm, and we'll see what the percentages are. But we know certainly that a number of these boroughs have reported, and Labour now confident of victory.
I'm not quite sure which ones have reported already. I suppose we're going to find that out in just a moment. But it wasn't the idea that Susan Hall was going to be doing a lot better in the non-central areas of London, particularly the ones, let's be honest, where the extension of Eulers was very unpopular.
There was there's what's called the sort of donut effect. And what is often the case is that the central boroughs of London will be solidly Labour, but the outer boroughs, especially people who are voting, perhaps they're annoyed about ULEZ, for example, that charge that many people now have to pay to come into London, that they are traditionally more conservative boroughs. But in early returns, as we can say, Greenwich and Lewisham was the first area to report. Sadiq Khan, not unexpectedly, he's in the lead in that particular area 52.2% to Susan Hall's 23%. Merton and Wandsworth have also reported, and they say Mr. Khan is at 49% in that borough, with Susan Hall behind on 25.4. So far, Sadiq Khan has something like 350,000 votes, whereas Susan Hall has 165. So at the moment, if you sort of put it all together in terms of the information we have at the moment, now there's a lot more information to come. Big health warning and all of that. Sadiq Khan is at 52%, Susan Hall at 24%, Liberal Democrats at 6%, and the Greens actually 6.6% ahead of the Lib Dems, and Reform UK at 2.7%.
Yeah, Labour are claiming the London mayoral victory. There is, from what we understand from polling guru, of course, Sir John Curtis, there's a 5% swing from Conservative to Labour in a constituency where the Conservatives were ahead in 21. Now been won by Sadiq Khan. So I suppose that's a big indicator of how things have gone so far. Peter, thank you. We're going to be keeping you abreast, of course, with the latest results as they are coming in. We've still got a few more. That particular one up in West Midlands, we've been told it is too close to call for now. But of course, when we get some news, we will be bringing it to you. Will Andy Street hold on to his mayoralty, or will he capitulate to the Labour candidate? Welcome back to My Political Frenemies. This week, Anne McLaughlin, SNP for MP for Glasgow North East, and Belle Ribera Addy, Labour MP for Streatham. Belle, I'll come to you. Your reaction, your party's claiming that Sadiq Khan has won it.
Well, that is excellent news, but, the votes still have to be counted. We need to make sure until that result is declared, cautious. We have to remember that it's going to be closer. It's going to be close. It is going to be close, and we've always thought that it's going to be close. I don't believe in safe seats personally, and I don't believe in going into election thinking that you're going to win it. And I've been out with many campaigners for the Labour Party, and fighting for every single vote we can, and that's important. We have to remember that if Sadiq does do this, it's completely unprecedented. It's be the first time we have had a London mayor serve a third term consecutively, and I think it's going to be an amazing thing. I mean, imagine if Londoners woke up tomorrow and Susan Hall was their mayor. That would just be beyond depressing. This woman is Trump supporting, Truss supporting, just really awful candidate. I don't know if the Conservatives actually even expected to put her up. I remember that the front runner in the mayoral for the Conservative mayoral candidate actually had to bow out because of a sex scandal.
Yes.
And I don't think she was ever meant to be the candidate. But that's what they got stuck with. And I'm just praying that Londoners don't get stuck with her too.
Well, the next hour, we're going to be speaking to one of the candidates that wasn't selected, Paul Scully, who, of course, is an outer London MP. He's going to be here after 2 to give us his thoughts. Gisbel, because you mentioned going out canvassing, I mean, you said a few things about Susan Hall. She's not here to speak for herself, but there are a few things that she was saying.
My apologies.
No, there were things that she was saying that people did agree with. Particularly, I think ULEZ was one of the big things, surely, that had come up on the doorstep. You said you were going around in your London constituency in Streatham. Are you telling me that everybody was very happy with ULEZ?
No, I would never tell a lie. There are enough sins that I have to repent for. But I think that ULEZ was always going to be very difficult. We do need to do something in terms of air quality control, but I do think any measures that we put in place have to work best for local people. So I do understand why some people are hugely concerned and why they want some amendments. But Susan Hall was going around saying that she was just going to scrap it on day one. Now, that is an example of somebody who's clearly not understood their brief, and she should know better. Did she understand how many millions it's going to cost to scrap it on day one and what that would mean? A lot of the difficult choices that Sadiq has had to take in London has been due to the government actually punishing London for having a Labour mayor and giving us less of the central money budget that we get from government usually. And I think he's worked quite creatively with it, being able to give free school meals to all primary school children, and that was huge. And Susan Hall's already said that she would scrap that on day one too. I heard some kids calling her Susan the sandwich snatcher, which I thought was hilarious. But I think overall it shows a huge strength of the fact that Londoners want to be Labour, because the Tories actually rigged the voting system. They changed the voting system, put in ID, and the person that did it. Did you see what happened to Boris?
Well, yes.
Boris Johnson went to a polling station without his ID. The ID that he forced us all to have.
Of course,
that was not poetic justice.
Sure, but of course, this being Boris Johnson, one does have to wonder whether at all it was indeed him actually forgetting his voter ID. But perhaps that's a conversation for another time. And I'm very conscious.
I actually took a letter with his name on it, and he thought that would be enough.
Okay. And I can hear you laughing in the background. How has it been from the SNP's point of view? Of course, no elections up in Scotland. What have you made of the results so far?
Interesting. I'm pleased. Well done, Bill. I'm pleased for Bill and other Labour colleagues. I mean, it's the beginning of the end for the Conservatives for the foreseeable future. Anyway, I would have said. So I can't be anything other than delighted about that.